there are more things going on than we think might be going on with all that's going on. This married Phillips. 10-minute Torah, day number 2 of the Torah portion, Mikketz, at the end. When we read about the dreams that Pharaoh in this storyline has, and he sees both aspects of agriculture, animal and grain, being either abundant and fruitful or completely decimated. We can understand why he would be intrigued, why he would be disturbed. When Joseph is brought out of the dungeon, stands before Pharaoh, and offers to him clear, concise interpretations about what Pharaoh has seen. The response is in verse number 28. And this is the word which I spoke to Pharaoh. Elohim has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. See, 7 years of great plenty are coming in all the land of Mitzrayim, but after them 7 years of scarcity of food shall arise, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Mitzrayim, and the scarcity of food shall destroy the land, and the plenty shall not be remembered in the land because of the scarcity of food following, for it is very severe. Then it says in verse 32, this is Bereshit, Genesis chapter 41, by the way, verse 32. And the dream was repeated to Pharaoh twice because the word is established by Elohim, and Elohim is establishing to do it. Wisely, Joseph begins to lay out a proactive plan in dealing with the impending crisis that is 7 years in the future. Now, for all of the issues that we might have about Pharaoh as the various versions of this sovereign is presented to us, he is problematic for Abraham. He is problematic here. He is problematic for Moshe. Pharaohs play a significant role throughout Israel's history. For all of the negatives that we would say about the various individuals who carry this sovereign title, this particular one, was wise enough that he listened to what Yah was saying to him and acted agreeably, not only saving his nation, but also nations of the world. Untold millions of people could have died if he had not been willing to listen. If he had acted arrogantly and said, nothing to this, back to the dungeon with you, he would have died and his nation would be forgotten. But Yah situated this circumstance, this worldwide dilemma for his people. Think about this. All of the world's problems, as varied as they are, whether it's war or disease or financial crises, all of these things that plague our minds, that fill our newscasts, that overwhelm our beings at times with worry and wonder as to how it's all going to turn out. None of these things are occurring without Yah being in the mix. Whether it's the Russo-Ukrainian war, you would think, well, that's just two nations having it out over a long-standing feud. That's part of it. Politics is a major part of it. World involvement and all the dirty secrets under the table and however they may be being manipulated, that's part of it. But Yah is undoubtedly in the middle of all of that, orchestrating events and turning people's lives around, doing things that it may be kingdom days before we really see it. But he's involved in that. Issues that are involved in governmental structures of Europe, the whole Brexit deal and how all of that international play is taking place, the Queen dying and Charles now being king. Yah has his hand in that. American politics, whatever side, however you view American politics, as dirty, as nasty, as frustrating as it all may be, Yah is in the middle of all of that. Your local situations, things that we don't hear about on the national newsstands, the way things play out, Yah is involved. Why is he involved? Because praying people everywhere are inviting him to be involved. We're crying out and saying, Yah, we need your help. We need you to intervene. Now, we know that there are things that have been prophesied in the writings of the prophets, in Daniel, in the book of Revelation, that are horrific. This planetary body, whether it's an asteroid, whether it's some kind of other foreign body, a comet, or whatever it is, called wormwood, hits the earth, and it has a devastating effect. Now, we've had near misses. Well, if you can call hundreds of thousands of miles or even a couple of million miles or so a near miss. Nevertheless, there are things that have floated by the earth more close than what many are comfortable with. But there is going to be one that makes impact. Now, when that will take place, we're not given that timetable. Is it in our lifetime? I think so, but we don't know. At some point, though, there is going to be a planetary chunk of something that will hit the earth, and it will have cataclysmic effect. We read how that major segments of the earth's population die. When you have some 8 billion people on the earth, but a third of them die, that's enormous numbers of people. How is that going to happen? Disease, plagues, famines, these things are coming at some point in the future. But make no mistake about it, Yah will be in the middle of it. We might think, well, Yah has finally rose up in his anger and his seething wrath and said, I have seen enough, I have tolerated enough, and I have drawn a line and said no more. Therefore, my fury is just going to be poured out upon the earth, and we'll see who survives. There's a greater agenda than that. If we think about this, in one day, as we read the storyline, in 24 hours period of time, Joseph went to sleep, unshaved, probably ill-dressed, probably ill-fed, sleeping in a dungeon, probably with the rodents running around. It was a miserable existence. In 24 hours period of time, he was bathed, clothed elegantly, shaved, adorned, and wearing the Pharaoh's ring, now going to bed in 24 hours' time as viceroy, prime minister of all Mitzrayim. Servants attending to him. And we don't know how quickly he was given this wife, Asenath. We don't know how quickly that happened. Was it within the 24-hour period of time? Was he married the same day? One could read it that way. But his life was dramatically changed in 24 hours. The impending crisis that was about to take place was not just for world judgment, but it was another twofold purpose. Number one, it was for the promotion of those that were faithful and righteous. Joseph. Yah orchestrated this event and this nighttime dream pattern for Pharaoh to produce the man that he needed on the scene at that moment. And then more down the road, but certainly necessary, was for the establishment of the nation of Israel. Whatever you're going through, whatever life is throwing at you, is bigger than you might think. Let Yah promote the righteous, may that be you, and may he produce the reality of Israel, of whom you are a part. More tomorrow. Until then, shalom.